team. So, Shannon, how will this play out?
Right now, the Texans are trying to stand pat. They're trying to hold to their guns, hold the fort down and say, look, we're not trading him. But I think as we get closer to the draft, because I think the draft is the deadline, Skip, because that's when you're going to be able to get maximum value for Dak Prescott. And I think, look, the going rate seems to be 3 first-round picks, 3 first-rounders, and if you have a quarterback, you're probably going to have to give that quarterback up also. Something similar, I believe, will happen with Russell Wilson, because I think they're very similar players. Skip, Houston's going to come to the realization that Deshaun Watson is not paying for this organization. Now, you can be stubborn and say, well, we're going to show you. But by him refusing his services to you and playing and not playing, what are you doing? You don't have him. He doesn't want to be there. You've made your bed. You made the direction that you wanted to go in. You tried to backtrack because you said you was going to keep him abreast of things that were going on. And then when you got the word of the direction that you should have go, you said, nah, we're going to forego what you guys say and going to do it our own. And then you didn't relay that information to him. And I said this, even though you brought an African-American in at head coach, David Culley, that was going to have no bearing on whether or not Deshaun Watson came back to Houston.
You said that first.
I said it. And oh, no, he loves David Culley. He coached him in the Pro Bowl. I said, okay, if you say so.
Reportedly, they did have a meeting.
They had a conversation.
Okay.
And he said,
I'm sure Deshaun likes him, but,
Coach, Mr. Culley, whatever he called him.
No.
This is not the place for me.
Okay.
And so I believe the Houston Texans will come to the realization that Deshaun Watson no longer wants to play for us. And the best thing for us to do is to try to get maximum value for him. There are teams, I believe there are 2 teams, Skip, that has the firepower right now to go get him. The Jets, because they have 4 first-round draft picks in the next 2 years. The Miami Dolphins. And Houston Texans, you can get your first-round pick back because the pick that they got early, that's yours. You gave that up for Larry Tunsil. And so that's your pick. You can get it back. And possibly, Skip, all the pieces that you've given up, the D. Hopkins and taking off Deshaun Watson, you can start to try to get some of that back. But I don't believe Deshaun Watson plays for this team, and I believe the Texans would inevitably come to their senses and trade him and get great value for him.
Okay. Before I answer Jenny's question, you just jogged my memory on something. David Culley once played quarterback at my school, Vanderbilt University, and I meant to inform you, you need to start watching my basketball team because Scottie Pippen's son, Scottie Pippen Jr., he can play. He is growing on me. I watched them win their first-round SEC tournament game. They're playing Florida today. Check him out because he's going to be a first-round pick. Vanderbilt Pro Pipeline. I don't know where...
Man, stop. Y'all got what we skip. Hold up. How many Vanderbilt players in the NBA?
6 or 8.
No.
One's playing for your Lakers right now.
Who?
Dion, what's his name? Dion Williams, right? Is that his name? Dion Williams?
No, we ain't got that guy.
Yeah, you do. You just signed him to another 10-day.
Oh, you talking about Damian Williams?
Damian. What am I saying, Dion? Yeah, Damian Williams. Yeah, he just signed another 10-day contract. Look at Darius Garland for the Cavaliers right now. Look at him. Look what he's doing.
Y'all got a good baseball team. Y'all got a good baseball team.
We got players from, Damian Jones. I'm
Damian
sorry,
Jones.
What am I saying? I call him the wrong name. Once a first-round pick of the Golden State Warriors, once upon a time. Okay, back to the question, Deshaun Watson. I remind you, once upon a time, the late father of the current Houston Texans owner, Robert McNair, remember what he said? Behind closed doors, but it got reported, I believe, via the New York Times. He said, we cannot let the inmates run the cliche is asylum, but he said prison. We cannot let the inmates run the prison. Am I right about that?
That's what he said.
That is the mentality of that family.
Correct.
That now continues to own and operate in the wake of the late Robert McNair.
Right.
The Houston Texans. So that's going to be the psyche of the front office. They've hired Nick Caserio, who was the right-hand man of Bill Belichick, and he will be in lockstep with that. We cannot let Deshaun just force his way out. Just a year ago, we gave him a mega contract, right?
And it's good. You remember Caserio at the press conference says, the player. He didn't drag, and then he's like, hold on, I said the player. See, that might have flown in New England, where you say you don't call the player, you say the player.
Bill Parcells used to do that to Terrell Owens.
The player.
Yep.
And, you know, Parcells have some less than favorable thing to say about Terry Glenn in the beginning.
Yep.
But, Sean's about, Skip, at some point in time, you look, the guy doesn't want to play with us. Mm-hmm. Let's get 3 first-rounders. Skip, we can start to rebuild our franchise.
Okay. So the point is, I believe they will dig in and say, we cannot allow this. For even the sake of the league, we can't allow a quarterback just to force his way out the way the NBA players just routinely have been pulling that off. As we've seen right and left, James Harden and Anthony Davis. Okay, so I believe this is, my mother used to say, don't cut off your nose to spite your face. Well, I think that's about to happen in Houston because my gut feeling is that they will just make Deshaun sit. They will keep him on ice for the whole year if he wants to, but they'll say you can come back and play anytime you want, but you are under our contract right now, and he's got, what, 4 years left of that contract?
No, this is Skip. He got the 5th-year option, and then he got the 4 years.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so he's theirs
for 5 years. They got it for 5 years.
That's what I'm saying.
Plus 2 franchise tags if need be.
Okay, if need be. So they know in their heart of hearts, they're smart enough, at least Caceres is smart enough as a football man, to know that I don't care what you get back for Deshaun, you don't have Deshaun.
Right.
I got him second best quarterback in football, although Brady's rising up the ranks now, and I don't know, just in pure value.
You can put him in top 5, but I don't know if he's the second best. You put him in front of Rodgers? Yeah, you put him in front. So I think we got Mahomes. We like Mahomes. You got Rodgers, Brady, Josh Allen.
I'm the biggest Deshaun fan, and the harder I looked at what he pulled off last year with very little around him, in such apathy in the locker room. It's just hard to overcome that. And every game he went out and just fought his guts out. And if you look at his numbers that he put up last year,
he was sensational.
With no D-Hop anymore, so they had a pretty good group.
Yeah, I mean, then he lost William Fuller the fifth, I think, for the last, 3 or 4 games.
Yep.
He got Brandon Cooks.
Yep.
But, Skip, I just believe that if I can get 3 first-rounders for a guy, because like you said, it's never going to be the same. He doesn't want, it's not going to be the same.
Okay, it's not going to be the same for him, but if he leaves, it's not going to be the same for them. Because no matter who you bring, Jets, if they give you Sam Darnold, you're just kind of stuck with Sam Darnold. I'm not a big fan. I think you're going nowhere with Sam Darnold.
Well, if you take the pick, they got the second pick in the draft. Go get your quarterback. Get Justin Fields.
You sure?
Go get Zach Wilson.
Deshaun Watson.
No. You never. No. But that's the thing with
you're never going to recoup that.
No.
I don't care how many firsts you got. It's hard to find that.
Especially at that position. Now, you lose other positions, Skip, you might can replace that because the Cowboys were just fine without Herschel Walker. They got Emmett, who became the all-time lead rusher. They got Russell Mallon. They got Darren Woodson. So they did just fine with that trade.
Okay,
but when you're talking about a franchise quarterback.
He was the only gate attraction. And trust me, he was getting up there in running back years.
Yeah. He, at that point in time, Skip, he had turned into the tiptoe bandit. So he was not running with the same ferocity.
What did Jimmy say? the moment they pulled off the deal, he called it the great train robbery.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, that's how little he thought of Herschel at that point.
Yeah. So franchise quarterback, Skip, they don't happen. They don't grow on trees. And so when you get one, Skip, you do everything you can to keep him, and you definitely don't try to tick him off.
Okay. So what if they just say, sorry, we're going forward with this?
Well, you already gave me $60 million. I got $60 million. I hold it out. You're going to say, well, you're going to have to pay it back. I will eventually, once you trade me.
Well, at what point will Deshaun say, I just want to sit around anymore? It's hard to sit.
It is.
Yep.
But he's, like you said, he says, I value loyalty. He had a tweet. He tweeted it out. Said loyalty over everything. Don't ever forget that. That's what Deshaun said.
So the Athletic said they think Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to be the Texans quarterback all next year.
Yeah, and he knows Houston. He was there before.
Yeah, and he's okay.
He's serviceable.
He'll give you a few moments.
He can be a bridge. You like Zach Wilson, or you like Trey Lance, or you like Mac Jones, whomever, Skip.